Some breakups are messy, and some just take a twist of the key. I'm talking about former Land Cruiser owners, once the kings of the open road, the kind of ride that made other drivers move over, now is suddenly shifting into reverse to pick a Suzuki Fronx. Sounds weird, right? Yeah, I thought so too, so I had to dig deeper. Here's the thing. The Land Cruiser is powerful, comfortable, and built like a fortress. But once the kids are grown and those weekend camping trips disappear, that 5,700-pound beast starts feeling more like a burden. Parking it is like playing a 3D Tetris game. And the fuel economy? Let's just say it drinks gas like a teenager drinks soda in July. So a lot of folks start looking for something just right. And the Suzuki Fronx, at just about 13 feet long, suddenly makes the short list. In Australia, it starts at 28,990 AUD. That's roughly 19,000 USD before on-road costs. But here's the kicker. It's not just about the price. The Suzuki boss even dropped a line that went viral. Many people will ditch the Land Cruiser for a Fronx. That's like saying a supercar owner would trade it in for a tiny EV grocery getter. Sounds crazy, right? Until you realize the Fronx nails a certain lifestyle. Roomy enough for 2 adults and the occasional grandkid run, yet sipping fuel thanks to a 1.5-liter mild hybrid engine. And the best part? That sweet spot feeling isn't just about size. It's about being free from the daily stress of wrestling a metal monster. Parking's easier, U-turns don't feel like a construction project, and checking your blind spots doesn't require squinting into 3 mirrors. If you've ever tried to wedge a Land Cruiser into a tight underground parking garage, you know exactly the kind of joy I'm talking about. But hold up, is the Fronx really that good, or is this just a clever sales pitch? In the next segment, I'll break down every feature it's packing, and trust me, a couple of them might just make you raise an eyebrow. Alright, time to pop the hood. Actually, no. Let's pop both the hood and the price sheet and see what's inside this Fronx that makes Suzuki so confident they dare to tempt Land Cruiser owners. First up, a 1.5-liter mild hybrid engine. Sounds fancy, right? But let's be real. This isn't one of those full hybrids that can cruise silently on electric power. It's more like a sidekick, a small electric motor that helps save fuel and gives you a little extra push when you need it. Upside, better MPG, smoother engine starts, less jerky in city traffic. Downside, don't expect it to magically turn into a full EV. Next, the goodies. And for under $20,000 USD, some of these are downright premium. HUD, head-up display, your speed, nav directions, floating right in your line of sight, no need to look down at the gauges. Heated leather seats, a winter dream if you're in Minnesota, or mostly just bragging rights if you live in Miami. ADAS safety suite, emergency braking, lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control. Basically, it's like having a co-pilot that never takes a bathroom break. Big center touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, something even bulkier SUVs costing twice as much still make you tether with a cable. Now, some of you might say, well, Chinese cars have that too. Fair point, but here's the difference. Suzuki's got a track record for reliability, and they don't cram in a bunch of gimmicks you'll never use. And honestly, just picture it. You hop in, start the engine, your info's floating on the glass, seats toasty warm, steering's light, and your fuel bill's suddenly slimmer. That's enough to make a few ex-Land Cruiser drivers scratch their heads. But hey, fancy toys aren't the whole story. The real fun is coming up next. How well is the Fronx actually selling, and why is Suzuki quietly grinning about their global ambitions? All right, time for the part car companies love to brag about. Sales numbers. And let me tell you, the Fronx isn't just selling, it's rolling off the lots smoother than a downhill coast. In just 13 months, Suzuki has moved 229,000 Fronx units worldwide. That's not just music to the finance department's ears, it's enough to make a few other subcompact SUV brands start shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Why the success? Suzuki played it smart. They build the Fronx in India, a place with reasonable costs, flexible factories, and the ability to ramp up production fast when demand spikes. The head of Suzuki Australia even said, "Supply isn't an issue. If the market wants it, we'll deliver." Translation? No wait 12 months for your car drama like you get with some other hyped-up models. Here's the clever bit. The Fronx is designed to fit multiple markets at once. Asia, Africa, Australia, you name it. That 1.5-liter mild hybrid engine, it's just strong enough to meet strict emissions rules in developed countries, but still simple enough to maintain in places where service centers aren't on every corner. That's a strategic checkmate. One car, many markets, minimal headaches. And once sales are strong and supply is steady, marketing doesn't have to push so hard. Suzuki can just let happy owners spread the word, telling their friends, their neighbors, their Facebook car groups, "Hey, this thing's actually pretty sweet." And boom, you've got a domino effect. But hold up. The subcompact SUV market isn't some peaceful garden. Kia, Hyundai, Mazda, they're not just gonna sit there and watch the Fronx scoop up customers. In the final part, I'll show you what happens when the Fronx lines up against its rivals. Does it raise its nose or bow its head? All right, time for the main event. The Fronx steps into the ring with the Kia Stonic, Hyundai Venue, Mazda CX-3, Chery Tiggo 4, and a whole crowd of subcompact SUVs fighting for attention. On price, the Fronx goes toe-to-toe with Kia and Hyundai, but then sweetens the deal with extras like a head-up display, ADAS safety tech, and heated leather seats. Stuff a lot of rivals don't even offer or make you pay for in the higher trims. That's a big win for anyone who wants that fully loaded feeling, right from the base model. Design-wise, it's got that coupe-inspired shape, just right ride height, not as flashy as the CX-3, but not as plain as the Venue either. Some say the look's a bit tame, but honestly, that's an advantage. It won't age out of style in 2 years. As for the drive, that 1.5-liter mild hybrid isn't the most powerful in class, but it's smooth and fuel-friendly, perfect for cruising the city and solid for the occasional road trip. This is the kind of car where you're not bragging about your 0 to 60 time, you're bragging that your gas tank still isn't empty after a whole week. And here's a little friendly jab. A lot of subcompact SUVs today try to puff themselves up to look bigger, but then forget the basics. Narrow doors, poor visibility, or back seats that feel like budget airline seating. The Fronx sticks to the just right formula Suzuki's been talking about. So, can it knock out a few longtime players? Maybe not overnight, but if it keeps selling like it has for the past 13 months, some brands might be losing sleep. So, tell me, would you rather go for a feature-packed, easygoing SUV like the Fronx, or a bigger, more stripped-down ride? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe so next time on CarCry, we can unwrap another four-wheeled troublemaker, maybe even one that's more controversial than the Fronx.